Well, no funny business, let's get down to it. Good evening everyone, welcome to round 3 of our FPRL Season 9 Championship. Our Tier 3s once again kick off the week on a Monday night. We have headed to the brand new Hard Rock Circuit in Miami. A track with very mixed opinions across the fan base. But, yeah, let's go racing. Cruiser 1872, you all know the voice by now, and you all know the voice of my Total Tom's partner. Monkey Boy Kurt, first off, how's your dinner? Because we are very much on the ball right now, so priorities come first. I need to get my dinner before we finish, actually.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Hopefully we're going to be in for another cracker, round 3 of the Tier 3 season. How's my dinner, Cruiser? It is very tasty, actually. Got a bit of southern fried chicken goujons here and a bit of coleslaw with a bit of barbecue sauce. Very nice.
Love it. I don't know what I'm having, probably just have some toast, because, yeah, I'm just not in the mood. Anyway, Sheriff Woody on track, briefly overtaken there by Major Allen. So it looks like the Major will get us running in qualifying, and keep an eye out for this little finicky chicane. Easily one of the worst sets of corners in F1, at least on the current calendar. Just kills any momentum and is so easy to get a penalty around there. But down this never-ending back straight, expect a few overtakes for the evening across the field. We should hopefully have a few more drivers joining. Our championship leader, Destroyer, pardon me, should join up. Just getting a little bit held up, trying to connect up to the game. Fardo trying to sort out some kinks as well. Prince of Crime we did see join and then leave. I don't know what that's, but hopefully the internet's get sorted. And Jay Undisputed hopefully joins up as well, but will have to serve a qualifying penalty due to missing their check-in. And I'm pretty sure Reese has followed the same boat there as Jay Undisputed as to why he has retired early in the session. Anyway, Major Allen round sector 1 up towards turn 7 and then a tightening turn 8. So easy to run wide, but for your first lap it's just all about getting a feel for the track. Is now down the isn't straight and the first of 3 DRS zones on this track. Technically it's the second, but the DRS zone on the pit straight just starts before the start finish line, so technically that is the 3rd DRS zone. Major Allen now up to the finicky sector 2. We'll jump on board and just see how narrow and tight this section of track is for the Mercedes to negotiate. Swing it wide, throw it into the chicane, which actually he's fared quite well in, and then a little bit in the inside curb, sets yourself up and you punch it now down to the final real corner in this track, that being one of the hairpins around this Hard Rock City. Oh, Hard Rock City. It's not quite the YMCA. Around this Hard Rock Circuit. Indeed, it is a circuit, another street track. You know how much I feel about them. And the final few corners for the Major. Let's see what we have for the Mercedes. It's a 28.2. A bit scruffy, but it's a good start for Major Allen, as Sheriff Woody does a 27.9. As next up over the line, I think is going to be Wizard of Oz. Indeed, it will be. So we'll jump back now to the Alpine, and he's got a Sauber right behind him, looking like that will be Locker or Hirsch. I think that might actually be Locker. As down to the hairpin, and enough battery just to keep you over the line, not burn it too soon for the Alpine. It's going to be a pretty quick lap actually, so 27.1. Have that for a jump between Sheriff Woody and Wizard of Oz. 8 tenths between the Ferrari and the Alpine so early on, and Wizard of Oz looking like another contender this evening for victory.
Yeah, looking quick once again. Wizard of Oz, we know how quick he is in quali. He's always up there, and at the moment he's got an 8-tenth lead in that pole position place. Hirsch gone up to 2nd place. Just Pip Sheriff Woody on 27.9 as well. A few more going round now. Have Remaster 27.2. That's a bit more like challenging the Wizard of Oz. Just under a tenth behind through there. And who else we've got coming through? And David Loleface. David Loleface goes up to 3rd place with a 27.2. That's a bit more like it from Dave, well done, mate. Buttons coming around, the quali master. Oh, and he's done it again. 2 back-to-back poles in the first 2 races, and now on provisional pole with 12 minutes left of the session at 26.7. 4 tenths clear of 2nd place now, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, seems like they seem I've completely butchered this line. The master proving to the apprentices of the field, showing them the benchmark that has to be hit. There we go. Trip over my own tongue one too many times is Sid sandwiched using pretty much every bit of that right hand wall to open up the hairpin for the final dash to the line. Got a lot of battery in stock actually. Does the Williams driver up to the line? It's a 28.2. He definitely be looking for improvement on that. The flow up towards sector 2, Reese's Pieces on their outlap. And we're still waiting on news for our other drivers. I'll keep an eye out in our Discord server for that. And that's, I've just realised the Ballon d'Or awards are on right now. We already know who's winning that, and it's probably going to be Rodri. Yeah, just apologise for getting sidetracked, but hell, what are you going to do? We got a little break in qualifying, so I suppose it's better than talking about what happened to one of our commentary team on a night out in Birmingham, and it certainly wasn't me because I'm from Scotland and I don't have a driver's licence.
I catched a little lift with Mr. David Lolface, who is up in P4 at the moment. But yeah, it was actually Stoke Newcastle under Lyme, if you want to know the exact where we all went on Saturday. What a night out it was for Mr. Tidgham, who is getting married later next year. So congratulations, buddy. No, it was all a great night. A lot of drinks were consumed. Luckily, I don't think anyone chundered, which was very, very good. But just
about.
But back to the action. The flow's gone up to P5 of a 27.4. FPRL locker into 6th for 27.5. I think some more faster times are going to come through. We've got Reese's Pieces now on his first flying lap, and Speedy B as well coming around the final corner to start his first one as well. I'm just going to quickly send an invite to all the ones that we're hoping to join once again, because potentially we've got another 4 drivers.
Careful. He was on a good lap there, but let up the rears at the hairpin. That's all you had to do. Major Allen, good evening. Watching in the Twitch chat. Hirsch has already said he ain't beat getting into a sub 27. Button's probably getting pole. Never know. We'll see who can pull a rabbit out of the hat. The flow up to 5th. Trying to cool down the tyres and maybe go for another run. Most likely go for another run. The Tattoo Star's in a second lap, but is down by a couple of tenths. Keep an eye out on Speedy B. This is a driver he's been very consistent since he joined. Chipping away at in the mid-table, getting like 5th, 6th, 7th, but has had a couple of podiums across his tenure in FPRL. Maybe looking for a step up tonight if things do cascade for others. As around the chicane for the Alpine, as Reese's Pieces does a 27.0, puts him up in second place, but Wizard of Oz is going to start their lap in just a few seconds. And transferring back to the other Alpine, Speedy B getting a nice little distant slipstream here potentially from the Tattoo Star. Might be challenging, dare I say, David and Brewmaster for 3rd, well, maybe for 4th. His Wizard of Oz, hopefully, will improve a little bit to try and challenge Button. Speedy B around the final corner. It's a 27.6, and it puts him right in the middle of the Salbers, but he's just behind Locker, up in 8th place is the Alpine. So a decent effort there, but looks to go again as there's Reese's Pieces on the cooldown, and Wizard of Oz up by a 10th heading down the back straight.
Yep, all very close once again. I've just seen it in the chat that Jay looks like he is ready for his invite. I've been sending them out to all the others, but at the moment they're not joining. But hopefully we'll see Jay now at least join the lobby, and also the championship leader who's won the first 2 races of the season in Destroyer. Says that he will join. Hopefully he does. But at the moment he's got 8 minutes left of the session and he's not in. So might be a chance for Button to maybe convert a potential pole position into a win. Reese's Pieces obviously now his nearest contender, but here comes the Wizard of Oz, and Jan Dispute has joined. There we go. Round the final corner he comes as the Alpine towards the line. Deployment is already used. Is that going to affect him coming across the line? And it is. Yeah, he was down by a 10th, and I think if he had that extra bit of battery usage come the final bit of that straight, he might have got up into 2nd place, but Button for now still holds the pole position. We've got one of the RBs coming through. Here comes Speedy. He's also on a down lap. Brewmaster on a out lap as well. Sheriff Woody is probably going to be our next person that's going to be across the line as he comes through the really tight bit of sector 2 there, and then towards now the last part of this lap down this back straight and then towards the hairpin right down at the end. He's only up by about a tenth and a bit, but let's see if Sheriff Woody can gain any more time in this last section of the circuit. Got to be really good on the brakes here. You can even gain around about 2-3 tenths if you just brake in the right spot. It wasn't too bad of a exit for Sheriff Woody. He'll be hoping to try at least leapfrog a couple as he comes across the line. He leapfrogs one. He's up to P9 now over 27.8 with around 7 minutes to go. And Button goes even quicker. Yeah, 26.397. Have fun beating that.
Funny how Button improves his time by that margin, and look who joins. A bit of poetry there. That Button improves his time to a 26.3, and Destroyer joins up the lobby. He should be okay. I think he should be okay to qualify since he did do his check-in. He just made us aware. Maybe a little bit later. He should be alright. As we're keeping an eye on David, he's in a cooldown lap. Everyone seems to be in a cooldown lap as Brewmaster, hopefully I didn't catch you doing something there you shouldn't have. Might have actually done that there, so slam dunk. Hirsch on a cooldown lap, Destroyer is in, so we're at 16 now. Just waiting potentially on Fardo and Prince of Crime to join. But it seems like Fardo might be the more likely of the two, in all honesty. Sid Sandwich, the only driver on a flying lap right now, so he's got the whole track near enough to himself. See what that Williams can do. He's the slowest runner so far, who's set a time and is desperate for improvement as he's looking to pick up, if I'm correct, his first points of the season. He's matched his first sector on his best lap, but I think the wise choice here is just battery management throughout the final runs in qualifying, because we've seen a lot of drivers run out of battery even before the final two corners, rather even the pit entry. So you just lose a little bit of time down the run to the line. 50% heading around sector 2, halfway around the lap, half of the battery. Working out so far, but this is where you really rinse it, trying to get the car turned there. As said, it just isn't sticking for now. He is up by a little bit, and that will currently put him up into 11th place. Anything more might challenge Hirsch or even Sheriff Woody in 9th for the moment, as Speedy B is a bit of a buffer between himself and the Ferraris. As down to the hairpin goes the Williams, and a final run to the line. Rinse that battery, drain everything you can. He's not going to, because he gets more out of it. And up to the line, it's going to be a 28.0. It puts him into 11th, just behind Hirsch. And at least it's an improvement for the Williams, but does he have enough time for one more lap? And I think that answer, unfortunately, might be no.
Yeah, no, unlucky. And it looks like Hirsch was around 2 tenths up, but he's invalidated. That would have put him up a couple of places. He will now come back into the pits and go out on a fresh set for his last run. We've just got under 4 minutes to go, and Destroyer will be looking to try and get at least one run in. Well, only one run in now. Wondering when he's going to go. Is he going to give it 2 laps potentially, or just the one with as little fuel as possible? And I think we've got no one on a fast lap now. Sid will be coming in to obviously change tyres. He's got a no, I think he's going again. Actually, he's trying to get all the battery back and go once more. At this stage, of 3 minutes, I reckon he probably could have got in and got back out again. To be honest, it would have been tight, but now it definitely looks like he's recharging that battery to go for a final run on this set of tyres, and yeah, back up to 100% now. So that's definitely what his plan is. Major Allen in P13 starts his final run as he comes through sector 1. We will see what his split time is, and if he's up on that 28.2, potentially get ahead of the Tattooed Star and the Sid Sandwich. He now comes through the end of that first sector up towards, and he's 4 tenths up. It's a great first sector. If that's the case, he'll even leapfrog the likes of Hirsch and potentially Sheriff Woody. Will stay with him as he is the first person that's going to set his last run. We've then got the flow coming through as well. That will be up there soon towards the finish line. But here comes Alan now through the tricky part of this track. They've really got to get the brakes on, and the left-right does not want to invalidate and doesn't through there. Now onto the back straight. What's the split time going to be? He's only 13th out of something. I think he's just been blocked by his own teammate there. And yeah, he's not going to be very happy with that, unfortunately, by Mr. David Lowface there.
I don't think he'll be best pleased with David's antics, but David is setting himself up for his final lap. As Alan, around the final corner, he's forgot about his battery, but I think he's just going to try and get that battery back for one more run. He was up by 4 tenths, but the amount of battery he used in Sector 1, I think that kind of leaned it towards why he was so quick. So he's just got to learn to manage that throughout, especially towards Sector 3, which Sid is doing a lot better though, and he's drained the fuel tank. Issue is he's got to be careful, because he will be limping while everyone else is on a final lap. So he's got to get this lap together and at least have a buffer across everyone else's. Rumas has crashed around Sector 1 up at Turn 5. Looks like he's got on the curb and is spun into the barriers somewhere. We'll jump towards one of the McLarens he seems to be going past, and actually no we won't, because the car has disappeared. Good timing, Toadmasters, as Sid improves to go 7th. Tell you what, on older tyres, that is a great effort there from Sid to get ahead of Locker, Speedy and Sheriff Woody. Puts him 7th for tonight's Miami Grand Prix provisionally. And I say that because there is a juggernaut of Destroyer setting himself up for his one and only attempt to challenge Button, who is still 7 tenths ahead of the nearest driver. So Destroyer's got it all to do, as well as, I was going to say Reese's Pieces, but that'll now be Wizard of Oz, and actually the Flow's up there as well, up in 4th, so good confidence booster as well for both the McLarens.
Yeah, I think the Flow's going to have just about enough time to get another lap in, but the Wizard of Oz, yeah, he was getting a really, really big toe off the Flow, but he's invalidated, and he's not using, he's using all of his battery. I don't know why, because he's going to need that battery to go for one more lap. He's got the time to go for one more lap, but now he's used all the battery, it's going to be no use to him. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that one from Reese's Pieces. Here he comes across the line now. And, yeah, he did have time for another lap, and he would have gone...
Flo didn't make it.
He would have gone
Flo
quicker.
Didn't make it, but he's still 4th.
I think maybe Reese's Pieces has just literally seen where he would have gone. He would have gone up to a 26.8. So I guess now we'll see everyone else come in, starting with Hirsch. It's going to be the first of the Kick Saubers, who currently sits in P11. Can he get himself up into the top 10 or even higher? Let's have a look. Hopefully he is, you know. It's not, and it's P11 for Hirsch. Now here comes the duo of the Ferraris, and first it's the Tattooed Star, who's up by 3 tenths. Can he get himself ahead of Hirsch? I think he will do. He does put himself up to P10. Sheriff Woody comes along, goes from 27.4 up to P7. And now we've got Destroyer, and what's he going to do? It's only P9 on his first run, 9th place for Destroyer.
Certainly not what he had in the script, but what about David? David has invalidated, unfortunately. Locker's going to be the last one, I think, to set his lap. Will it put him in the top 10? He does, he beats Destroyer, so Locker will be chuffed with that. And Major Allen, last up, is not going to improve. Reese's Pieces, yeah, I think that's a fuel shortage and zero hope. So Button, for the 3rd time this season and 3 in a row, is going to lead them from the off for tonight's Tier 3 Miami Grand Prix. And I tell you, this could be the race where the championship... This is where a race like this, the championship swings. Championship leader Destroyers in 11th place. Button is 2nd in the championship, if I am correct indeed. I hope I am. Yep. So Button is 21 points behind Destroyer. So having the 2 victories already is so important. But Button, it's clear what he has to do now.
Well, I think, you know, taking pole by 6 tenths, or almost 7 tenths, I mean, he surely has got to convert that into a win. You know, we've seen him on pole the last 2 races and he hasn't done that, but I don't see why he shouldn't be able to this time around. It looks very strong once again around here. Reese's Pieces will be happy with P2 though, nevertheless, and Wizard of Oz P3. David Loleface up in P7, he'd be pretty happy with that as well. And in fact, if we look at second down to 11th, we're looking at around about half a second. So that's very tight, but yeah, almost 7 tenths from first to second. Yeah, we might have to be having a bit of a look at that potentially, but Button's obviously got to now convert this into a win.
Yeah, it has to. Hersey need the fastest sector 1 and then a terrible sector 2. It will do that around this track. It is a very, very awkward sector 2. Major Allen isn't best pleased with his efforts in qualifying, and Radical's tuned in, you're Nathan Radical, saying Button is no competition in qualifying, only in the race. Send me back down. Well,
Ooh.
especially with your performances last season, it might not be that bad, as I'll need to leave for a few seconds, get myself a drink, and then we'll get underway in a few moments' time for tonight's Miami Grand Prix.
Yeah, we will indeed. You might have just seen there on the screen that Destroyer has left the session. So we will get him back in, as he doesn't want to miss the start of this race. But I'm not sure now if he's going to be able to take control. He might have to take control as the race starts, which might mean that he gets a very slow start on the AI. But we'll have to wait and see about that as we get ready for the start of this race. And it's looking like at the moment not really a big change in tyres. Everyone is on the mediums at the moment. However, there might be time now for people to change, as we see one person now change to hards. We'll see who that is when it comes to the start, and he's left again. So once again, we'll be inviting Destroyer back into the lobby.
Well, hopefully this isn't. I swear, this might be the third race in a row where one driver in Tier 3 has had internet gremlins. It was, if I'm correct, it was Jay around Shanghai, then it was the Flow around the Hungaroring. Now it might be Destroyer tonight around Miami. Literally, spin the wheel, and it's you this next time out. Where, if I actually don't think we're heading, don't think we're heading too far at all. We're just heading a little bit west to Nevada potentially. I saw you getting as a teaser for next week. And United Tommy, good evening to you, saying, how did Reese get second? And I quote this, how did Reese get second? He's so bad. I think that might just be friendly banter there from Tommy. And Reese's Pieces as Destroyer. Hopefully the internet gets sorted out soon, because this is an open goal for everyone to make up ground in the title race this season. And I don't know if you said this as well, Monkey Boy Kurt, but we'll say it as well. For this season, we've slightly tweaked the start of our races. We will not do a formation lap, but we have extended the interval between qualifying and the race. So, at least with bright blue skies, for the moment overhead, it shouldn't be too much hassle in terms of rain. And yeah, friendly banter from Tommy. Now he's decided to be a good guy and hope that Reese's Pieces wins. Obviously, a bit of a two-face in the Reese's Pieces fan club, as Destroyer has joined back, still at 16 for tonight. Unfortunately, no Fardo. Looks like the internet is playing up, and Prince of Crime is not around either. So that's certainly not good news for them. But we do have some news. We got 5 lights ahead of the drivers for tonight's Miami Grand Prix, and we are underway for the start of this race. Button having an okay start there, but Reese's Pieces getting an almighty launch in towards turn 1. Button giving him the squeeze, but will have the inside lane for turn 2. He's got to hold it brave around the outside of turn 3, but Reese's Pieces cuts him off and takes the lead in the opening lap, as there is a collision at the back involving Reese and Sid Stein, which is not ideal as a virtual safety car there, because Sid has lost his front wing in an exchange, I think, with the Aston. But Reese's Pieces, a fantastic launch from him to get ahead of Button so early on. And looking through the pack, looks like the Flow has lost out a little bit to Brewmaster. David Lawface has held station in 7th, and I think really the big news there is Reese's Pieces is going to lead for at least for a little bit longer, and maybe the opening lap as Destroyer's left again. It is Internet Gremlins once more in Tier 3.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah, saying that the game's not giving him a chance to control his car.
Like I say, we'll try and get him. We'll try and get him back in, but yeah, unfortunately, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We'll try once more, and yeah, he's gone back to being or ghosted again. But yeah, Sid with a not bad qualifying now at the back, and we'll probably have to pit. There's some more debris there as well. I don't know if that's from Alan or Reese, but definitely some more debris flying off. I think it's actually Tattooed Star that's got the damage. But no, a great start, has to be said, from Reese's Pieces. He gets himself into the lead, and now Button has gone wide at the hairpin, and he drops down to P4, allowing Ringmaster and the Wizard of Oz to both get past.
Nightmare situation for Button right now. You say making that mistake down to 4th, and he's going to take an awkward line because there's another virtual safety car involving Sid Sandwich and Major Allen. So I was wondering why Button pulled off to the right hand side there, but the flow very much looking for the overtake on the RB, but that is a very poor mistake from Button, and something that we know he is not able to do very often. Don't know if we're just putting unnecessary pressure on him at this point, but yeah, I mean, we tend to be a jinx, especially from last season, towards a certain Red Bull driver at the time. I'm not going to say names, but we definitely did try our best to jinx them, and it did work quite a few times.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when we say that, you know, but at the end of the day, we're going to commentate on what we see, and you know, he's on pole now 3 times and down to P4 on lap 2. He's definitely got the pace to get it back up into the lead, but the DRS train's going to be very powerful round here. We've got 2 very long straights where it's going to be used, including obviously as well the main straight, which is probably going to be the least effective place where it's going to be, as Major Allen gets a drive-through penalty for speed under the VSC. Not ideal when you've just pitted and are already right at the back. So he will have to come in the pits once more. But we're back underway racing. Reese's Pieces leads then. Wizard of Oz, Remaster and Button. We've also got Speedy B trying to have a little go at the flow, but I think he's just a bit too far back. And then David, Hirsch, Sheriff Woody and FPRL Locker rounding out the top 10. If we quickly look at the position changes as well on the first 3 laps. Hirsch with the best start out of everyone, up 5 places. Remasters up a couple. Was the bottom Reese's Pieces, and also Jay up 4 from 15th on the grid.
Yeah, good start from Jay, and especially Hirsch, who's now all over the back of David Lawface, just a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 3, and he's just doing his best now to hold up Hirsch, but this is not going to help David down the isn't DRS straight, as Wizard of Oz. Oh, massive crash between the top 2. Wizard of Oz going for the move, and Reese's Pieces, they both slam in the wall, and Wizard of Oz has definitely emerged the worst from that. No front wing on his wagon, and Reese's Pieces, I think, his front wing damage himself, but could that have been avoided? I think the answer is very much it could have, especially only on lap 3.
Well, I had a front row seat of that. Saw Reese's Pieces go wide after the left in sector 1. And he's got wing damage as well, Reese's Pieces. He will have to come in because his performance is definitely going to be affected. But yeah, he went wide, allowed the Wizard of Oz to take it down the inside. And then it's a little bit of a coming together with the front left of Reese's Pieces and the rear right of the Wizard of Oz, and sent him into the wall. And yeah, not ideal, but now Roommaster leads the Grand Prix. Button will now be back up to 2nd when Reese's Pieces pits, which is now, we will see the flow go up into P3 in the other McLaren. But here comes the Wizard of Oz as well into the pits. He comes, not going to be a happy Alpine. And once again, Destroyer has left the session. He's having a few issues tonight.
Yes, looking to be an open goal now for everyone in this title, as he says, do not send me an invite until I'm offline. This game is, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to repeat what he says, but it's not a nice word he's used to sum up this game, and to be honest, I agree with him. Lap 4 in Miami with plenty of action, plenty of drama, and plenty of virtual safety cars, and still no burnt Mylander. But Brewmaster leading the way, 1.1 seconds ahead of Button. The flow's up in 3rd, as we see a little exchange here between a couple of the Salbers and Sheriff Woody getting ahead of Hirsch, who's had a very strong start to this evening, and now Locker looking for moving his teammate, but Hirsch is going to launch it down the inside at turn 9 and then into the finicky sector 2. I think Sheriff Woody has a preferred line, but Hirsch braves it and has now got the better line into the chicane. And Hirsch now a man on a mission and a man to prove a point this evening. He's up now to 6th place. And next up for him, next up for Jay, I think, is going to be a trip to the pits. But next up for Hirsch is going to be David Lawface.
Yep, David Lawface sitting there comfortably in 5th at the moment. But as you say, Hirsch. Oh, and there's contact there between Sheriff Woody and Locker. And that was almost good night for both of them. Yeah, coming side by side down the back straight, and it's very clumsy driving actually. You've only got to go side by side with each other, but that was almost good night for both of them. As now we're also getting the DRS on Hirsch. Yeah, the kick salvo there, almost having his night ended as Jay comes into the box for his front wing change onto a set of mediums again. Yeah, we said that Hirsch up 7 places. David Lawface in 5th place, dropping a bit further back now from Speedy as he's right on the back of the flow. But it looks like Brewmaster here has got a bit of a good gap here. 1.3 seconds. It means he won't be under a threat from Button. And Flow is trying to now gain on Button as he's in the DRS, only 4 attempts behind. But it looks like this could turn into a battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here between Button, the Flow, and Speedy.
Should be worth saying though that despite the negativity we gave Button earlier on, he is starting on the hard tyres. Brewmaster's on the mediums, the Flow and Speedy B are also on the mediums, David's on the hards. So not even worth saying that there's a field split in strategies right now, because at least half of the field have to pit for a new front wing, or at least in Major Allen's case for a drive-through. As Edo's the Flow making the move on Button into the hairpin. Got the outside line, Button braves it down the inside. He's going to keep the line, but he's going to lose the DRS in towards turn 1. And I think if you're Button here, you can't afford to fight too much, because Brewmaster will just pull away, and the Flow using the DRS and is up into 2nd place. And that McLaren is also out to prove a point as to why he is a continuous front runner in this tier. Meanwhile, David has welcomed Hirsch again to the back of him and has now been joined by Locker and Sheriff Woody, who's actually having a stable race in 8th. Destroyer is back, and hopefully that issue with the game will at least get sorted, but I don't know if it will. Unfortunately, it is not looking good for the Haas driver this evening, as down the back straight we go with David. Going to stick with this battle for a little bit longer. We keep an eye though on Button and Speedy catching up to the Flow, but I think they're going to lose out just as they approach the braking zone, as there's a lock up there, a big lock up from the Flow, as Edo's Hirsch looking for the move in David. He's going to go a little bit wide though as David, and that's going to put Hirsch now on his outside. He'd done this move to Sheriff Woody, but David gets the elbows out as now into the chicane. David's on the outside. You can't go too wide here, and Hirsch goes through, and now Locker going to go through as well. So David, in his defence, is now going to lose out to all 3 of them in the space of as many corners.
Yeah, it's going to be a drag race now between Sheriff Woody and David. But David, I don't think, has got the DRS, unfortunately. But now, here comes FPRL Locker on his teammate. And now he goes up into P5, and there's a bit of contact there between Sheriff Woody and Hirsch. But they keep it together out of the wall. But yeah, Locker now up to P5. Overtakes his teammate Hirsch, and Hirsch maybe can have a go potentially back into turn 1. No, he's a bit too far back. As Sheriff Woody sends it round the outside, and that's almost a very, very good move there from Sheriff Woody. He's still there. He's got the traction. And if that is a fantastic move there from Sheriff Woody. What a move that is. Round the outside turn 1. Kept it in there. And before we got to the twisty section, he's ahead. But now he's going to have Hirsch all over the back of him come down this back straight. But Sheriff Woody can say that he's got a bit of DRS help from Locker. But Hirsch obviously with the extra slipstream, I'm thinking he's probably going to go back further past, or is Sheriff Woody going to be able to hold it in front? Looks like he might, as there's also some battles going on between the Flow and Button ahead, and Button now trying to keep ahead of Speedy B as well. Speedy B just going to slot in behind, but Button will be straight back past the Flow, I feel, only 3 tenths behind, and now he's got a load of DRS down the final straight before the end of the lap. And Brewmaster now is checking out with all this battling going on. 3.3 seconds he now leads by.
That is just doing what he has to do right now. Is this Button looking for the move back in the flow? He lost it a few laps ago and is up now into second place once again. The ERS is looking a little bit unhealthy for all these drivers. This Button immediately pulling to the right hand side, looking to defend the inside, force the flow wide at turn 1, but he will have the better run at turn 2. Button is still there, he's holding on to the inside for turn 3, and Button makes the move stick at last. He made it a couple of corners later than what he would have wanted, but is up now into second place. As we'll just keep an eye out. It's a little bit of a field spread, but equally some very entertaining fights. We've got Locker up in 5th, holding on against the Ferrari of Sheriff Woody. Hirsch and David 7th and 8th. Destroyers in 9th. And Reese's Pieces, after an earlier pit stop and a collision with Wizard of Oz, is down in 10th. Brewmaster 4 seconds though ahead of Button. So I think if you're Button, you're hoping that these mediums slowly fade, rather quickly actually.
Yeah, and once again, Flo battling, trying to get past. Probably going to be another switcheroo now as we go down the straight. Speedy B trying to get on the act as well, potentially. Button here lose potentially 2 places in one straight. He probably won't, but here we go then. The Flow going to go straight back past, it seems. Is he going to the outside or the inside? Going to go to the outside, but then gets blocked off and try and get the better exit now out of the final corner. As Sheriff Woody and Locker behind also make a swap, and Sheriff Woody's up to 5th place. Yeah, I don't think the Flow's going to make a move here, just a bit too far back, so Button will keep that place for now. But yeah, Brewmaster still at 4 seconds. He's enjoying life at the moment. Still got 35% battery as well. He might try and use this now as an opportunity to maybe gain some back. But yeah, he's sitting pretty comfortably there at the moment. We're 9 laps through at 29. I would have thought that potentially in the next sort of 3 or 4 we'll start to see the first people come in for their pit stops, as Jay sets the fastest lap of the race down in P12.
And Hirsch has done a fantastic double overtake there on his teammate and Sheriff Woody at turn 1. Done everything right there. Just braked it a little bit later, but was able to cut across to block off the Ferrari and stop him making the move on the switchback at turn 2. But this is where he is in some serious trouble with the DRS behind. Locker down 2 places, Hirsch up 2 places, but it's still a Sauber, a Ferrari sandwich between the 2 Saubers, and David's just sticking in there, hanging in there, waiting for the pit stop window to arrive, where he will absolutely floor it to make the most of an undercut or even an overcut, which, I don't know, an overcut might be the way to go on this track, so keep an eye on how that pans out. But really it's just about getting some fresh air around this circuit. As we'll check in a little bit here with Reese's Pieces. Destroyer, it says he's back in the lobby, which is important, I suppose. He can then carry on and try and secure a points finish, as there's Hirsch and Sheriff Woody once again exchanging hammers and handbags, as there's Locker making the call to pit after only 9 laps of racing. So that's an interesting move there from the Sauber.
Yeah, potentially a bit early, I feel, maybe by a lap or 2. Oh, he's getting a front wing change. So either he's just literally received that, and he's thought, well, you know, this could be an early time to get undercut. Oh, and there's a crash.
Flo's gone, he's been spun. I think Flo's been spun around by Speedy.
And yet we don't get a safety car. He just gets going again. But the Flow down to P7, he's got wing damage now as well, and he will most likely now pit and then go to the end on a set of hards, but he'll drop all that time as the Hirsch now goes through past Sheriff Woody up to P4, and now there's an 8-second gap to the top 3. Speedy up in 3rd now, 8 seconds ahead of Hirsch. Button 2nd. As I say, that Hirsch gets a 3-second penalty. That's not going to do him any good. That will drop him behind Sheriff Woody, David Loweface and the Flow. And yeah, wondering now, when are we going to see the first pit stops? As I say that, here comes the race leader, Brewmaster, into the box.
It's a very early pit stop for the mediums. So Locker's pitted off of 8 racing laps. A race leader, Brewmaster's pitted off of 9 racing laps. and so Sheriff Woody for that matter. So Sheriff Woody's in the pits in the flow, kind of forced really, after that front wing damage. So the order as it stands, Button takes the net lead. He's 2.2 seconds ahead of Speedy B, but might be in for a meeting with the stewards after a collision with the flow, but we didn't see it, so we can't judge. Hirsch now up to third, David in fourth, but they have yet to pit. Rumas is going to emerge in fifth, ahead of Reese's Pieces by quite some margin actually, and that's 7 seconds. He's out ahead of the McLaren. So in terms of a pit stop window for Button, he is safe, but it's just how much damage is going to be inflicted now, because Rumas is on these hards now till the end, and it's how far Button will go, and I expect maybe around lap 17 we'll see Button in the pits, but surely anything around lap 20, lap 21, we're looking towards soft tyre territory right now. But we'll just need to see how this race pans out for Button. He knows what he's doing, as well as David, former teammates of course at Williams and reigning Constructors champions, the pair of them. He's staring at the back of Hirsch now, getting a bit of a taste of his own medicine from the start of this race, as we get a close-up there of David's helmet. Appreciate that, Codemasters. That's exactly what we want to see. As down the back straight we go with David. Hirsch on the fading medium tyres and a 3-second penalty. David thinks better of that, just about gets it stopped against the Sauber. And is this Hirsch's pit stop window? That answer is yes. He's in the pits looking for an overcut, and Sheriff Woody, who's got a little bit of clear air, he's out behind Destroyer though. So David has a lot of work to do himself, as he's got Rumas a few seconds back. But we're going to see now, where is Hirsch going to emerge? Is he going to be out ahead or behind Sheriff Woody? The answer is he's now definitely behind Sheriff Woody, because that's a front wing change for Hirsch. So both of the Saubers suffering with front wing changes, and to make a pun of all this, there's going to be a massive carbon fibre footprint at the end of this event.
That's it. Hirsch now comes out and just ahead of the flow, behind his teammate FPRL Locker. And that's a disconnect. That's a disconnect, and it's retired. Destroyer, yeah, not had the best of evenings, has the championship leader, the winner of the first 2 races. He is now out and will not gain any points today. So this means now that Button, if he wins, can take the lead of the championship after 3 rounds. He currently leads by 2.7 seconds to Speedy, who I think we'll see into the box very, very soon. I would go and buy everyone else stops, to be honest. The Flow has left the session, so we'll get him back in, and he gets a 3-second penalty there. I just want to say as well, Cruiser, that you've just won innuendo of the season there with a close-up of David's helmet.
I'm very proud, but also I am not proud at the same time, as Speedy B is indeed in the pits. Let's see. He emerges. He's just leaving the pits now. Is he actually going to get ahead of Oz? Don't know. This is going to be close here between both of the Alpines. As there goes Wizard of Oz. Where's his teammate? It looks like he's just about ahead of his teammate. So Speedy B definitely making the most of that extended stint. But Wizard of Oz and Reese's Pieces, these two were first and second at one stage. Now they're 7.5 seconds behind Brewmaster after their exchanges and front wing changes. So Speedy B definitely in with a shout here at a podium once again for the Alpine driver. Could he make it 3 in a row?
Yeah, he's been a very consistent driver, hasn't he? He was consistent at the end of last season as well, and I'm pretty sure the Wizard of Oz will not hold him up as he goes through on the fresher tyres by 9 laps. Up to P4 now. He's probably a net P2, I would say, because he'll get the undercut obviously now and get ahead of Button. But Button, we also know, is on the alternate strategy along with David Lolface. They're going long. They're going to go either hard, medium, hard, soft potentially, as we see a move there, Remaster on David, and but that was never in doubt with Remaster's 10-lap newer tyres. David now down to P3, and I'm just trying to see what he is. He's 14 seconds behind Button, and he'd probably at this point drop down to around about where Locker and Hirsch are. However, he obviously will be on the softer tyres at the end, so not looking too bad at the moment for David. and obviously Jay will have to pit again, and likely the Wizard of Oz and Reese's Pieces will also have to pit again. I don't know if they're going to get hard tyres to go, was it going to be 25 laps? Very doubtful, but they may get it done.
Well, we're not even a half race distance yet, so we've plenty of racing left to go. We did have a bit of a stutter of a start to this race with 3 virtual safety cars, but we've not had anything as such just yet. We've got Reese though, who's DNF'd early, and Destroyer DNFing as well, but says that the game wouldn't allow him to take control of his car, so he's retired just to prevent any potential accidents, which I think is probably the right call to have made if he can't take control of his car. So it's an unfortunate way to end for Destroyer. Is racing, at least his victory streak is going to end at 2. Couldn't quite make it 3 in a row, and I don't think we've had a driver in a long time take 3 victories in a row. I think we're going back to, funnily enough, at this track in a certain Ferrari. I will never let that down, Diamond. I will still call you an anchor merchant from 2 years ago, especially at this track where you won by 30 seconds. Anyway, Speedy B and Wizard of Oz getting their own little French Civil War, it seems, in the Alpines, battling away for a net 4th. 6 seconds behind David. He's just going to hang in there against Brewmaster, use whatever DRS he can, and if he can get a DRS around sector 1, which he's going to try and fight for, but I think it's just a bit too much for those worn hard tyres on David Lawface. And Speedy B, Wizard of Oz have quickly dispatched Reese's Pieces, and Jay Undisputed having a quiet race actually in 7th, especially after the start of the race that he had. Up 8 places is Jay, so he's doing his best to get the vote for driver of the day. As there goes Wizard of Oz again getting by Speedy B. Potential slingshot tactics maybe by the Alpine drivers, and they are actually starting to catch up to David, but the real fight is with the Brewmaster, because when certainly when Button makes his pit stop, he'll be either just in front or just behind these two. So they just got to keep their head down. That's all I can really say on that. But Button, we're approaching lap 16 of 29 at Miami, and away he goes for another run. But his pit stop window is going to happen and arrive very, very soon, as well as David, who's, despite everything that's happened in this race, David up in 3rd. If he finishes the race there, he'll be very chuffed with that performance as well. As there goes Sheriff Woody making the move on Jay. I think Jay made a mistake somewhere, and Sheriff Woody now up to 7th. Everyone's getting a little bit spread out now, really, apart from the Alpines having their own little tussle, but I think Jay's going to make the most of this fight for as long as he can, and at least a little bit longer maybe, and towards turn 1, he's going to just sit behind the Ferrari for a little bit longer. And I don't know about Jay making it to the end though, because that's 11 laps on mediums. He might be holding out for another safety car, or at least something to happen.
The flag. There's a yellow flag out, and I think it was Wizard of Oz going wide there, going through the twisty section. He is now behind Reese's Pieces, but will have the DRS, if I'm not mistaken. They now, yeah, there he goes. He will have the DRS, and probably he's going to go straight back past. But will Reese's Pieces make it hard for him as he defends the inside line? But look at that speed that Wizard of Oz has got. Doesn't even need to cover him off on the exit, and gets past once again up to P5 after that mistake. Button then coming to the end of lap 16. Will he dart into the pits now? This race looks like it's coming back to him, to be honest. He will come out at the moment around about where Wizard of Oz and Reese's Pieces are. He'll be on fresh mediums, potentially even fresh softs to the end, depending on how long he takes these hard tyres. As the Flow gets a 3-second penalty down in P11. He's not really gained anything since he's come into the pits. Hirsch as well has dropped back from his teammate Locker, and Locker has obviously got no penalties, so he will definitely at this rate be finishing ahead of the two behind him. As Oz is into the box, David's into the box as well. David's made that call. He's on to mediums. And let's see where David comes out here, because I think he's going to come out around about where Locker is, potentially ahead of Locker, as he now will release that clutch and get back going again. As he comes out, it's going to be very tight between these two, and he literally needs to dodge a little bit, but gets out just behind Locker. But he has got now fresh mediums to the end versus Locker's 7-lap-old hards. So David should really easily get past and then hopefully get out after the likes of Jay and Sheriff Woody. Just wondering now if we're going to see Button come in. I have to say, Button is actually gaining time on Reese's Pieces now. I think he's going to come out in P3 and then he'll have fresh mediums to the end. He'll probably be about 10 seconds behind Remaster. So he's definitely got on top of them. He's going again. He feel like he can go again. And to be honest, at this rate, he's not losing a lot of time to Remaster. So I don't think there's much harm in going maybe a lap more or two. He just doesn't want to go too far. And then he hasn't got enough time at the end to gain the time back.
Yeah, that's the important thing. When do you make your pit stop? Because if he doesn't make his pit stop and there's a safety car, he's one to watch. If he does make it and there's a safety car, then he is on a strap. And speaking of strap, we've got the Flo and Hirsch fighting away for 9th place. Both of these drivers having a penalty, so it is somewhat of a clean slate between these two. Wizard of Oz made his second pit stop of the race, pardon me, so is looking to at least finish up in 9th after the penalties have been applied to Hirsch and the Flo. So this could be seen as the fight for the final point here between the McLaren and the Sauber, and going from one to another. David still behind Locker, but is on the freshest tyres of everyone in the field so far. So David, he's looking here maybe for a top 5. If he gets 5th place, he'll be well chuffed with that, because I don't see Jay getting those mediums any further than 18 laps, and he's got another 4 laps left to do before they approach puncture territory. And David marking his territory here against Locker around the outside, and Locker a bit powerless really to stop that. And David now up to 7th place. Next up for him, 4 seconds up the road, is Jay, and then a further 2 seconds, Sheriff Woody.
Yep, it's looking good for him, and I think Reese's Pieces potentially might not get to the end either on 14-lap-old hards. He may do, but they're going to be really, really shot towards the end. So David potentially is on for a P4 here if he does his best, but here comes Button. He's into the box. He will make his change now. 10 laps it's going to be then on these fresh set of mediums. He now leaves. Brewmaster obviously into the lead. Will he be out ahead of Speedy? He would love that Button if he can get out in P2. And to tell you what, oh, there's a bit of contact there. But really, Speedy drifted in towards the pit lane. And Button didn't do nothing wrong there. Button comes out in P2 on fresh mediums. 8 seconds to gain to get ahead of Remaster. I think this is game on now. 10 laps left to go. He's got a gain of around about, what, 8.5 tenths every lap. Definitely doable. We'll now see who's going to win then. Is it going to be Button or is it going to be Remaster?
Could it even be Speedy B? Still in range of Button and is going to use the DRS, and if Speedy is clever here, he'll just try and stick to the back of Button and try and use that RB to tow him along and maybe look to all but guarantee that podium place. As Reese's Pieces, 15 laps on the hards. He is very much looking behind him now for the threat of David Lawface and even Locker as well for that matter. He's still sticking in as the Sauber. And from one to another, there goes Hirsch defending the place against Wizard of Oz. And Hirsch left his braking a little bit too late there. Got himself out of shape. And Wizard of Oz has dispatched both him and the Flo. And is up now into a guaranteed 9th place. Anything after this now is a bonus, because there you see Locker and David around 4 seconds ahead of him. So could the Alpines still be on for a good result here? And as we'll look at the penalties real quick. Nothing more than 3 seconds for Major Allen. The Flo getting back ahead of Hirsch, Sheriff Woody, and Jen Disputed as is. Hirsch looking for a return overtake there on the McLaren. But 3 seconds currently will promote David up to 6th. Locker will just miss out and remain in 8th. As this Hirsch again, he's trying to put the Flow off here, but it's not happening. And that is about all it is really for penalty placements. As there's David actually now in DRS range and catching rapidly to Jay. 12 lap older tyres on that Williams, and David definitely showing the difference between them. And I expect this overtake to be quick and painless really for Jay Undisputed, because I think his fate is all but sealed. With the DRS down this back straight for David, using a bit of the ERS to get ahead. Jay's actually carrying front wing damage, further cementing his pain. And David now, easy as you like, up to 6th place. And has now got around a second and a half now to make up to Sheriff Woody, and Reese's Pieces getting a 3-second penalty. P4 might actually be on the cards after all.
Yeah, I definitely think it could be. I also think he's got the same length, freshness of tyres as David, but yeah, like you say, the Wizard of Oz definitely can gain a few places here as well. Let's have a look at that gap at the front though, as Button does the fastest lap, 1:29.0, and he's now 6.2 seconds behind Remaster. If he keeps it up at that pace, he's going to be catching him up by the end of this race. It's going to be a battle for the win right at the end, and I reckon by that time actually the tyres will probably be a bit more levelled out in terms of performance, so we could be in for a grandstand finish here between the Haas and the RB. He's dropped Speedy B already by around about 1.7 seconds, so Speedy will do well to keep with him, but I don't think he will, just because he's on 8-lap-old hards. As we see, like you say, Reese's Pieces with a penalty, Sheriff Woody with a penalty, who's almost now going to drop behind David Lowface another second and a bit, and he will do. As yeah, David's having a really good race so far. He's gone with the alternate strategy as well, and it's looking like it could pay off for him. Starting the race in P7, can finish it in P4 potentially. Let's have another look at other people that have raised up the field. So Jay's come up from P15 to P7, but like we said, we think he's going to have to stop again. Speedy's up from 6th to 3rd, and Remaster up from 5th now, leading the race, but he's got a very fast RB of Button coming up behind him now, 5.7 seconds back.
G Undisputed really suffering now on those tyres, and that front wing. Locker just made up a ton of time in Sector 2, but unfortunately for Locker, Wizard of Oz equalled that difference he made to the Williams, but Locker looking down the back straight, maybe for an overtake, not quite on Jabe, who goes deep himself, and I think that's a sign his tyres are starting to fade, and his hopes of getting a points finish here is also, as Reese's Pieces has made a pit stop. He's on to a set of softs, looking to chase in the fastest lap, as there goes Wizard of Oz. Locker backs out of that fight, and the Alpine now up to 7th place, and now a guaranteed 6th place for Wizard of Oz. So he is, after the collision with Reese's Pieces, he's done fantastically well to make up the time, and it's all been for nothing.
Oh dear. Oh no.
The Cruiser Tom's curse has struck once again, folks. Welcome to FPRL, where nobody is safe. Wizard of Oz, I'm sorry.
Yeah, down to P11, and yes, I think he's not going to be liking that curse there, Cruiser. No,
he's not going to be chuffed for me.
He's wing damage as well. I think he might just come in the pits and retire now, if I'm honest. However, might get a safety car, so potentially stay in there. But oh, we got another yellow flag, and it's there's your safety car, but it's only a virtual at the moment.
Well, at least it's a virtual. And even at that, Brewmasters went past the pit, so he can't even change his tyres. If you're Sheriff Woody, and even at that, if you're Speedy, you've got a guarantee that he's going to carry on. What about Sheriff Woody? Is it worth the pit stop? No. David, it isn't really worth it for him either. If you're Locker, maybe, probably not. Yeah, I tell you, I'm surprised that Speedy didn't pit there. He could have actually went for a set of mediums and chased down to get a fastest lap. But
yeah, I mean, I just think the distance between everyone just wasn't quite enough with the laps that are left, and Jay's really going fast here, and I think, is that going to be him retiring potentially? He did seem to come in the pits quite aggressively. Wizard of Oz is also in, and at the moment they haven't retired, so it looks like they're going to carry on. The VSC is still out, and Button will be liking that, because it means he doesn't have to use as much on his medium tyres. We've got 6 laps left to go, and we're going to see now what that gap's going to amount to between Remaster and Button.
Oh my goodness,
it
he's
looks
caught
like
huge.
Yeah, I don't know if Remaster got a bad getaway off that restart, but 3 seconds now is the gap with 6 laps left to go. The tyre life, just to remind you, 12-lap-old hards for Remaster, 4-lap-old mediums for Button. Button's definitely still got the better tyres at this moment, so it's now down to 2.8, 2.7. He's gained so much in the corners, as we enter lap 24 of 29. Is this going to be the race where Button converts his pole into a win? Have to wait and see. Not too long to find out, and I think only a lap or two we're going to have Button in the DRS of Remaster as the Flow makes a move on FPRL Locker.
That he does, but gets a little bit shunted by the Sauber Burton turn. Braked a little bit later, did Locker, as now he returns the place to the Flow in towards turn 1. The Flow around the outside of the Sauber, and Locker's going to fight this one. He's not making it easy for the Flow, but he's just going to make it difficult enough to make the Flow work for it. Is up now to 6th place, but really Locker, for the Flow being on the 3-second penalty, he doesn't really have to fight that one too hard. But Brewmaster, good luck, because there is an angry RB hunting you down, and that gap at one stage 5 laps ago was 8.5 seconds. It's now 1.5 seconds. Button, that VSC might have just gave him that chance to really catch up that Haas, and he's made that work massively. Charged up his battery as well, and he is very much got that Haas in sight, and you see there from the onboard, there goes Brewmaster around the hairpin, and not far behind him. Button is still in range of him, and he can just about see him there from his camera.
Yeah, he can. I'm just looking at the gap now between Woody and David, and that gap is now currently at 4.2 seconds. So David needs to gain another second and a bit in order to take 4th place at the moment, and with those tyres now starting to get a bit older, he might struggle to do that. So you just got to keep in there and make sure he doesn't get any penalties himself, does David, as we now see Button within DRS range of Brewmaster. As we now come to the straight, it's 7 tenths. Will he go for a move here? The RB, that 25 or 29 is definitely possible potentially, but I think he's probably going to wait till the straight before the hairpin down sector 3, as we now come into the very hard braking zone, and he's right up the rear now of Brewmaster. Definitely going to have a good go down through sector 3 and into the hairpin, I think. Doesn't want to cause, you don't want to get any penalties here at this stage either, these two, because that could definitely affect the race. And now Brewmaster going to try and break the toe and sweave a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem for Button. Dan, Jay's out. It's just going to be a safety car, and it is.
Oh, Brewmaster, count your lucky stars.
Well,
that might have just saved them.
Yeah, Brew will be in for softs because you only potentially at max lose. Well, Button stays out. I don't know why. Because you're only going to lose 2 places.
No, he doesn't.
Nah, Speedy will come in.
Oh, Button, that might have been a bad move.
I think because of the gaps between 7-lap-old mediums, but I think the gaps you had. Oh, and Brew's gone to mediums. I'm surprised at that. It was this late in the game. Speedy here could be on potentially for a potential win. Soft tyres.
Well, he's got work to do because David's going to go up into a podium place, which that's explainable for David to stay out. Speedy B will be now down in 4th. Sheriff Woody will be 5th. There's Locker trundling down the pits. Sheriff Woody will be 5th. Hirsch has stayed out, which is a brave call, to say the least. The Flow is just ahead of Locker, so that's 7th and 8th. Reese's Pieces will be 9th. A Tattoo Stars had a very quiet evening, actually. Still in the points places, though, is the Ferrari. Was the Voz will carry on and get himself in the points. Sid, another quiet evening in 12th, and Major Allen is just fighting for pride, really, at this stage, hoping something happens. Something happens ahead, as Jay confirms that he, quote, binned it at Sector 1 around turn 4. It's unfortunate for Jay Undisputed, but some late drama in Miami. Button leading the way, but on 7-lap-old tyres. Brewmaster's in 2nd on fresh mediums. David's on 9-lap-old mediums in 3rd. Speedy B's on fresh softs in 4th. So for that Alpine to pick up the victory, he's got some almighty work to do. to get ahead of the pack. And
Well, Terry's
Yeah.
loving this is Locker because he will gain 3 positions with the people that have got penalties in front of him. Also, Wizard of Oz, Tattooed Star, they're all going to potentially gain positions as they've got no penalties. So I definitely think they're going to... You could see... Oh, and Hirsch is now into the pits. That's a bit of an odd one.
He does have the gap though to the flow, but they're going full speed. I think really this is just to guarantee Locker at least gains 1 place on him. So, somewhat courteous I think for Hirsch, just take the hit and allow his teammate to have a little bit less work to do in this restart, which will be happening at the end of this lap. And Wizard of Oz in the chat just confirming earlier on in the race a collision between himself and the flow actually was not, saying that the flow was too far ahead of him and he dropped it on his own. Just from what we've seen in the mini-map, that is what it looked like. But still, we're going to have 2 laps of racing to complete this Tier 3 Miami Grand Prix, a slow burner of a race, it must be said. It exploded into life, quieting down as there's Ruma. I think Rumas is disagreeing with my assessments of this race. He's very violently shaking his car, saying no. I don't know... Well, Rumas, tell me what I'm wrong. We had 3 virtual safety cars at the start, and then we got a safety car to end it. Tell me where I'm telling lies, that this has been a slow burner of a race.
Well, it's going to be very interesting. We're going to have DRS on the final lap of the race. I don't know. I think Button... I think he's made a bad choice here because it's not like Remaster's dropped down to, say, P4, P5 and he's got to fight his way through the field. It's right on the back of him. I think Speedy B, even if Speedy B gets past David straight away, he could potentially be in for a very good end to this race as well, as the safety car is now coming in. And I'm wondering, will Sid and Major Allen be able to get up to the back? We can actually see Sid here get some points as he's got no penalties.
Potentially.
So, as I think they're just about going to reach the back of the pack potentially, or is Button going to go before they reach? No, they're going to catch up just
Sid's
about.
going to catch them. Sid's caught them, and I think Major Allen can just carry on at racing speed. So he's timed that absolutely perfectly. And Button away we go for the final time, the final 2 laps in Miami, leading in towards turn 1. Speedy B making a very important overtake there on David Lawface. Critical for the Alpine, and up now into the podium places. And Sheriff Woody now looking to catch David out too on those warm mediums as the Mercedes, and David relinquishes that place knowing the Ferrari has a 3-second penalty to come. And now this is the main attraction here. Button, Brewmaster and Speedy B. Who's going to win around the Hard Rock circuit? As Radical says that Wizard of Oz has a penalty. That is going to ruin his chance at points, as now the Tattoo Starler and Sid Sandwich look prone to take a handful around this Miami circuit, as Edward's Brewmaster looking to make the early move here, thinking about it, going to send it down the inside of Button. Button braves it out though, knowing the DRS is in effect next lap, looking to make it difficult for Brewmaster, and indeed Button holds on for the moment.
Yeah, Button there holding on quite well. Almost a bit of contact between the two, but Brewmaster just needs to make sure that he stays close to Button on this final lap, and he should do, because he will have the DRS. But Speedy B looked really quick there on that opening lap, and I thought he potentially was going to leapfrog both of them, but he's now 7 tenths behind, as now Brewmaster trying to go around the outside into the hairpin. Would he be ahead before the last lap? Button says no, I'm not going to give it up that easily, as they're now going side by side across the line on the final lap of this race. And who's going to take this win? I think Brewmaster probably got the better odds with the better tyres, but Button's going to try and outbrake round the outside, and Button stays ahead yet again. And here comes Speedy B now, trying to get past Brewmaster. On the inside, we've got a bit of a crash at the back there. I think Locker's gone round, which is unfortunate for him. But yeah, these three really fighting now at the death. And Speedy got a bit wide there. Needed to get a better run there onto the straight. And now it really depends on who's got the most battery and who's got the best DRS slipstream, as we now go down sector 2, down the back straight. The DRS is open. Here comes Brewmaster on one side of Button. Here goes Speedy B as well. And Button really dies. He's now done himself there. Oh, he spun it! And he's hit
Button.
Speedy B trying too hard to keep hold of that position. And unfortunately for Button, it's not even potentially going to be a podium. Might just about in front of Sheriff Woody. But Brewmaster, unless BDB has got a really good slipstream here, is going to win 4 attempts. You tell you what, he's coming. He's getting close. This might be a last lap dive from Speedy for the win. But I think Brewmaster is just about...
No, he doesn't. He's
He's
going to get the run on him. Who's in the win? I think Speedy's got him on the track soon. It's going to be close. Brewmaster to the outside. Brewmaster just about survives. And I mean survive. Speedy B, what a run to the line for the Alpine driver. But that first victory, just not today. Brewmaster wins around Miami. Speedy B, though, will be well chuffed the second, but Button just outbroke himself a bit too much in the final lap, and I believe he held on for third, as we'll probably see in the podium what happened there. But David Lawface, by the way, to take fourth, he'll be well happy with that. And yep, Button held on for third, and in, I think in some ways limit the damage in this race. But Brewmaster, for the third time this season, it's a Haas that takes the victory. But Brewmaster now gets his name on the winner's podium, and 3 wins in a row for the American output around their somewhat home track. It's like they've not got a shortage of them in the calendar. But they all count in the end for Brewmaster, and that's a big step forward for his championship pursuit. And a 2-horse race now from the same team.
Well, what an end to that lap it was. Sorry, Chris, I sort of hogged that last lap, but the action just didn't stop. But yeah, Brewmaster takes the win by 97 thousandths, just under a tenth from Speedy B. That really was a close, across the line bit of action there. Button really trying hard to just hold on to that victory, but outbroke himself, and in the end was lucky actually to get back up to P3. But obviously the penalty from Sheriff Woody. David finishes P4, a great result for him as well. And look at that, Sid Sandwich, we said didn't have any penalties, finds himself up in P6. So in the end, what a good result for it was for the Williams.
And breathe. Certainly a slow burn of a race for Tier 3, but they certainly know how to put on a show. Brewmaster and Speedy B, we'll try and get a word from Speedy in Discord, but Button again taking third. Just Speedy, that'd be Wizard of Oz saying that Button spun himself out and also hit me. I was scared. Just about survived though, to take a point I suppose. But yeah, that's certainly a sign of what's to come around Miami, so we will keep an eye on that, I'm sure, on twitch.tv/FP Racing League, where our Tier 2 drivers, aka myself, Monkey Boy Kurt and the rest, will take to the track on Wednesday, 8 PM UK time. I might or might not be watching a football match while I'm racing, or I've yet to actually decide if I am racing. And on Monday, next week, keep an eye out for Tier 3, but before we get there, Friday nights, Tier 1 at 8 PM UK time. Don't miss it, because it's FPRL. The unexpected is a guarantee, and what to expect is unknown. As we'll head to the showroom, and we'll get the RB for Button at the ready. As that's not ideal. And here we go. I've had stick drift recently on my controller. I need to get a new one. See if Button joins us tonight. If not, we will move on to our P2 driver, Speedy B, but I'll need to speak to him through our Discord server. And last up will be our race winner, that being Brewmaster. So we'll head to the Haas for now. We'll get a quick word with Brewmaster. In the meantime, we'll see if Speedy or Button will want to talk. If not, Monkey Boy Kurt, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Cruiser. So yeah, obviously we'll wait for the other two, see if they can come in. But for now, we'll go straight to our race winner. Is Brewmaster today. Third win in a row for Haas. First for you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, we'll go to quali first. P5, not too bad, but any do you think you could go on any higher up there today?
I could have gone P2, definitely. I don't know if you ever saw, but like my first lap was like a bit bad because like literally in like turn 2 or 4 I had a massive step out, so I lost like about a tenth or so there. And I also had a massive step out in like the last corner, so I lost another bit there. So I lost out a bit there. But every time that I did a lap after that, aside from the one which I did on the same exact set, I was going 2 tenths up each time, even with like not the greatest of laps. So I definitely could have been on for second place on the quali grid, but I never could have beaten Button. Button is just another. He's another level in qualifying, and I don't know what it is. And he was another level in the race. He definitely was the quickest driver in the race. I couldn't hold anything to his pace, but I guess luck on my side today.
Well, I mean, like you kept it very consistent, it has to be said, in the race, and sort of there was a lot of incidents going on around you and ahead of you. Obviously, Reese's Pieces and Wizard of Oz were leading early on, and they come together. So that obviously
Yeah, I
left
could
no
see
room
that coming a
for you.
mile away.
Yeah, they went very close on a number of occasions, but yeah, it was obviously yourself and Button for quite a while. You on one strategy, him on another. Obviously, you went for medium hard. Did you ever think we'll go hard medium, or was it an easy choice at the start of the race?
Don't get me wrong, I felt like I could do a hard medium. The only thing is, every time I do mammy and go for a hard medium, whenever I start on the hards, I'm normally last by the first 2 laps or something. I just always get caught up in stuff. So I was going for mediums purely just for safety, really, so that I didn't fall that far back, I guess. But yeah, I didn't expect to be leading by like lap 3, I want to say. I didn't expect that. I did think I'd get maybe 1 or 2 places off the line, but I didn't think I'd be leading. No way.
I mean, it worked out for you obviously later on because the Button was catching quite rapidly, and that safety car
That was only due
literally
to the safety car.
just as he was about to overtake you, that safety car came out, and
Hmm.
fresh mediums went on, and from there, obviously, you have the gap behind you. I mean, Button made it difficult, but I think we
He
always
should have
thought.
needed to.
I think we always thought you would just about get past with the tyres, and you did. And lastly, just talk us through. Obviously, that battle was speedy across the line. That must have been very, very close.
I'm not gonna lie. When Button was defending, I was like, okay, this is fine. I need to get past him quickly because Speedy was the one I was worried about considering he's on softs. He could just lunge it at any point, and then that's Button winning the race, and that's it. So I knew I needed to get past Button. But yeah, like as soon as I got past Button, I then realized Speedy had also got past, and I was like, oh god. And then literally coming onto that last straight, I was like, okay, how many laps we got left? And I saw it was the last lap, and I was like, oh no. But luckily, just a little bit too far back. But he still gave it a go around the outside. I'd kind of like ease into it just to really try and force him to either go outside or inside, and inside probably would have killed him because I was already there. But I really wanted to kind of like cut off any chance he kind of had at getting any kind of run, so I made him go alongside me going into that final corner, and he almost beat me across the line, but I'm just about to do it.
Yeah, no, a great watch for the end of the race. So well done to you on that. So 25 points for you puts you up now to 40 points. Button will rise to 45, I believe, and Speedy behind
He
you.
would be
Obviously,
7 points behind me. I'm pretty sure me and him were on the same points.
that's it. So I think you'd be sitting P3 in the championship after 3 races. Obviously,
right.
we go to Las Vegas next week in the second part of our American doubleheader. How do you like Las Vegas? Think you could potentially make it back-to-back wins again for Haas?
And well, I don't think I would be the one making it back-to-back wins, but maybe Destroyer can come through. I'll still potentially have enough pace to, be towards the front end, I reckon, but I don't think I'll be anywhere. Well, I didn't think I'd win the race now, so even then, like, I don't think I'll be winning the race, but you never know. I'll definitely say that I want to say I can get a P5, but I don't know. That's too close to call at this point. So I'll see what happens on the day.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, congratulations once again today on the win. Brilliant race from you today. And yeah, Cruiser, I'll hand over to yourself as Button now has joined the lobby.
Ah, how timely. I suppose as we head over to the RB, we'll detour via Alpine, because we got a quick word from Speedy B, and he says that you had a decent race and a decent quali, and after that race, it was quite scary due to the amount of spins and drama that happened trying to stay clean the whole race and stay consistent and pick up places like I did, and happy to be back on the podium and look forward to many more, hopefully one day to get that victory. But GG's to Brewmaster and Button. And last lap was fun, really enjoyed it, lol. I think lots of laughs, but certainly lots of screams internally. I think for Speedy B, certainly a bit of a action-packed race. And speaking of that, we head over to our P3 driver and Button. So Button, first off, you've made ground in a championship, but I think you might regret that decision late on to stay out on those mediums.
I don't regret the decision. I regret the safety car coming out. That just totally ruined my race.
Yeah.
If I could have held it round there and under the bridge, I might have held on, but we'll never know. But I made a mistake. I didn't allow for how much wear was on the tyres, and I completely outbraked myself, and I nearly went off to Las Vegas. So it was bad decision. Bad decision in that respect for that turn. But because there was only going to be 2 laps left and only 1 lap of DRS, I thought, maybe track position might be better tonight. So I took a chance and I blew it, but never mind. Brewmaster deserved it. He drove really well.
Still, regardless, it's a good haul of points for the championship. You've caught up a little bit to Destroyer in that scenario. I think that's going to be 6 points between yourselves as we head off to next week's race. So I think after tonight, the momentum very much is with you, but the Hasses look like they're going to be a bit of a problem this season for you.
Yeah, definitely. Those boys are quick. Destroyers are definitely a little bit too quick for me, but I'll do my best and try and stay with them, and we'll see how we go. I mean, I didn't expect much from tonight anyway. I do not like this track, and I don't like Vegas either. There were 2 tracks and Monza. They're the 3 tracks I've been dreading all season, but I'll give it a go and see how we come when we finish them. I'll see where we're standing then.
Well, Button, I've got some news for you because we head off to Vegas next. So,
yippee.
Yeah, let's hope you strike it lucky there and bring home your first victories in say quite a few races actually, but your first victory since last season. But all in all, a good effort for yourself, and the title race is back on, it seems. So congratulations to yourself. And before we do go, Monkey Boy Kurt, 2 things: 1, driver of the day, and 2, any further comment?
Well, I just want to say, if it's one of your most hated tracks, but I mean, you take pole by 7 tenths, God knows what you're going to be like at a track that you do like. So we'll look forward to that. But no, congratulations, obviously, on the P3, another podium. So you're up there again. But in regards to driver of the day, I mean, I was probably going to go with one driver who did, in the end, still finished where he was at the time with of the forward safety car, which was going to be David, because he did have a good race, but just at the end, I think probably have to give it to the race winner tonight for coming up the grid, 4 places, just holding on at the end there as well, keeping off Speedy B for that victory. So I'm going to give it to Remaster tonight.
Yeah, there we go. Brewmaster, fair play, and indeed well done. Driver of the day, and we'll get the Haas back up on screen for us to end off. So on that note, thank you all everyone for tuning in and for watching on this Monday night for our Tier 3 race around Miami. Be sure to tune in Wednesday for our Tier 2 race, 8 PM UK time, and our Tier 1 race on Friday, 8 PM UK time. Tier 2's on Wednesday, before we head off and travel west. Yes, my geography is correct for once. We travel west to Nevada and the Las Vegas Strip Circuit, a track where everything is Vegas because we can't name anything like Caesar's Palace. So, in the meantime, Monkey Boy Kurt will get some practice in for the Hard Rock Street Circuit, and we'll leave our viewers off on a good note. So, good evening, a good night actually from me and from you.
Yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching. As always, hopefully it's going to be another good race on Wednesday when me and Cruiser will hopefully be first and second.
Well, that we hope so, but all I care about on Wednesday is if Rangers beat Aberdeen, because I'll be driving like a pigeon. I'll have one eye on on the TV screen, and another one on my phone, seeing the game live. So if I do crash, you'll know why, because either we've completely bottled it, or I am just terrible at the track. Hopefully hopefully we don't bottle it. Anyway, that is going to be us from tonight at FP Racing League. Thank you all very much for tuning in and for watching, and from all of us here, good night.